Teen shaming exposed, shocking truth behind social pressure. Dear viewer, picture a digital jungle where the young and the restless roam. Here in the jungle, the teens are not armed with spears, but rather with smartphones. They're not outfitted with war cries, but with their wicked wits. Here in the wilds of Wi-Fi and the thickets of TikTok, a peculiar kind of social sport unfolds, which is the art of shaming. It's not your grandpappy's stern finger wagging or your mama's disappointed sigh. No, this is shame served with a side of sarcasm and a sprinkle of satire. It has just enough plausible deniability to leave the target squirming while the crowd cackles. Why watch this video? First, you will understand the hidden rules of modern social survival. Second, you can protect your mental health with psychological insights. Third, you will gain social power without becoming a villain. Fourth, you'll be able to spot the difference between justice and bullying. And fifth, you can prepare yourself for the future of digital culture. Warning! This video contains traces of pretentious vocabulary, meandering metaphors, and intentional alliteration. You're welcome. Part 1. Subtweet Serpent, Poison in the Wound. The subtweet is a creature that can be as slippery as a buttered eel. It slithers through the timeline, hissing between the comments, never quite naming names but striking with surgical precision. Imagine young Cassidy fuming because her so-called bestie bailed on their coffee date. Again. Instead of confrontation, she taps out a tweet sharper than a chef's Ginsu knife. It says, funny how something came up always comes up for the same people. Guess loyalty is a lost art. No names, no direct hits, but oh, the intended victim knows. The likes roll in like thunder, their retweets fan the flames, and just like that, shame blooms. It's visible to anyone who cares to look. Part 2, Public Roast, Feasting on Humiliation. Then there's the roast, which is a grand gladiator extravaganza where the crowd gathers to hurl zingers like tomatoes at a bad comedian. Take poor Derek, who thought it'd be a stellar idea to attempt a backflip at last weekend's bonfire. Spoiler alert, it wasn't! Video is now immortalized in the annals of Snapchat. And yes, Snapchat does have annals. Features Derek's flailing limbs, a startling yelp, and an unceremonious faceplant into the shrubbery. By Monday, the clip's been remixed with clown faces, set to the theme song of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and shared countless times. The caption says, "Forgetting your dignity at home." Derek's fate? He has a long week of being greeted with circus music wherever he goes. Part 3, the clown car of emoji warfare. Never underestimate the power of well-placed emojis, which are the silent assassins of digital disdain. A simple laughing face can be genuine laughter, but pair it with a clown or a crying emoji? Now you've got a full-blown shame parade. When Jason proudly announced that he's finally beaten level 1 of Dark Souls after 6 months, the replies didn't need words. Just a cascade of skulls, because his skills are dead. And clown faces, because, well, look at him. It's brutal and efficient, and it's the kind of psychological warfare that would make Sun Tzu rewrite his book, The Art of War. Part 4, Fake Praise Flamethrower. Sweet words, sour intent. Then there's the art of the backhanded compliment, which is a verbal knuckle sandwich wrapped in velvet. Picture Emma, who showed up to school in what she thought was a vintage Y2K masterpiece outfit, but everyone else recognized it as her grandma's closet reject. Enter Leah, smiling like a shark circling chum. She took a picture and wrote, "Wow, Emma, you're so brave to wear that. I could never pull it off literally because I have self-respect." The giggles ripple through the group like wildfire, and Emma's left clutching her despair. Part 5. Group Chat Guillotine. Swift and silent exclusion. The group chat, which is the modern-day town square, where reputations are made or massacred. One misstep, such as a cringy selfie or a tone-deaf opinion, and suddenly the dreaded "Who added this loser?" message appears. Then come the screenshots leaked to the new chat titled, "The Real Ones, No Weirdos." The offender wakes up to a silence so loud it echoes, their messages left on read, their existence all but erased. It's Fight Club rules. The number one rule is, you don't talk about why you're out, because you're just out. Part 6. Evolution of body shaming. Remember when body shaming meant childish nicknames like Chubby Charlie echoing across the schoolyard? Those crude jabs seem almost quaint compared to today's sophisticated brand of digital body terrorism. Nowadays, cruelty arrives with a side of algorithm. There's a constant barrage of Facetune influencers and airbrush TikTokers warping reality into impossible beauty standards. Every scroll through Instagram delivers the same toxic message. This is perfection and you're not it. The attacks have grown more insidious too. While some still lob overt insults like built weird or thunder thighs, the real damage happens in the shadows. It's the deliberate crop that leaves you out of the group photo. It's the conspicuous likes on all posts featuring size 0 models. The backhanded, "You're so brave to look like that" comments dripping with faux admiration. This isn't just bullying. This is psychological warfare waged with emojis and exclusion. It's where the absence of a tag can cut deeper than any playground taunt ever could. Part 7. Cancel culture canon, when shame goes nuclear. And then, of course, there's the big one, which is cancel culture. It's the H-bomb of humiliation. One old tweet, one bad joke, one questionable Halloween costume, and boom, the mob descends like vultures. Tyler, now 22, once thought it was hilarious at 15 to post, "Girls belong in the kitchen making me sandwiches." Fast forward to today. A screenshot resurfaces and the hashtag Tyler is over trends. Suddenly his DMs are flooded with everything from stern lectures to death threats. His apologies are dissected and discarded like frogs in a biology class. His fate is decided by a mob of TikTok judges. Part 8. Philosophers' take on digital shaming. If Aristotle strolled through today's digital jungle, he'd likely see modern shaming as a twisted descendant of ancient rhetoric. Today, wit replaces wisdom and likes displace virtue. Aristotle prized ethos, character, pathos, emotion, and logos, logic, in persuasion. So he probably wet his toga the way today's youth weaponize irony and anonymity. For him, shame had a purpose, which was to guide people towards moral excellence. But when roasting becomes recreational rather than corrective, he'd argue that it corrodes the community. Meanwhile, Nietzsche might smirk at the Darwinian drama of it all, seeing online shaming as the latest evolution of the will to power. This is where the weak band together to topple whoever they deem unworthy, all while pretending it is justice rather than jealousy. Jean-Paul Sartre, in declaring, "Hate is other people," would nod grimly at the way digital shame traps people in others' perceptions and expectations. A single viral misstep can freeze a person in metaphorical amber, reduced to a meme or a punchline forever. But philosopher Hannah Arendt, who warned of the evil of thoughtless conformity, would spot a deeper danger. This danger is the way crowds weaponize shame without accountability, turning morality into a trending topic. Even Confucius, who taught that shame could cultivate virtue, might despair at its modern incarnation. He might even hyperventilate, knowing the goal isn't growth but gleeful destruction. Philosophers would agree on the following verdict: shame without purpose is just cruelty in a clown mask. The real question isn't can we shame, but should we shame, and to what end? Part 9. Psychologists' Perspective on Digital Shaming. Psychologists warn that what often masquerades as harmless teasing among youth can have profound psychological consequences. There are hidden costs to the just joking culture. The adolescent brain, already hypersensitive to social rejection, processes online shaming as a genuine threat. It triggers the same stress response as physical danger. Dr. Lisa DeMoore, a clinical psychologist specializing in teen development, compares public humiliation on social media to an emotional car crash. It leaves lasting scars on self-esteem and trust. The rise of the call-out culture has also created a phenomenon that psychologists term performative accountability. This is where the goal shifts from correcting behavior to gaining social clout through public shaming. Studies in the APA Journal and JAMA Pediatrics show that repeated exposure to online ridicule creates intense stress. It correlates with increased anxiety, depression, and even avoidance of real-world social interactions. Yet paradoxically, the same teens who fear becoming targets often participate in the shaming of others. This is a coping mechanism to deflect attention from their own vulnerabilities. Cognitive behavioral therapists point out that digital shaming reinforces black and white thinking. It reduces complex individuals to single mistakes or cringe-worthy moments. Anonymity strips away empathy, making it easier to dehumanize the target. This is a process psychologists call the online disinhibition effect. Meanwhile, developmental experts emphasize that adolescence is a critical period for identity formation. Constant fear of ridicule can stunt emotional growth, pushing teens towards conformity rather than authenticity. Psychologist Dr. Jonathan Haidt says that the epidemic of mental health struggles in Gen Z is partly fueled by this culture of contempt. This is where mistakes are punished rather than forgiven. Psychologists warn that while incel, involuntary celibate ideology can promote harmful misogyny, shaming of these teens often worsens the problem. This happens by pushing isolated males towards extremism rather than reform. Similarly, virgin shaming, mocking sexual inexperience, fuels toxic masculinity and mental health crises. The Netflix TV series Adolescence takes a good look at this. Highly recommended. The psychological takeaway? Humor and social feedback have always been part of growing up. However, the viral, permanent nature of modern shaming turns what once was a fleeting embarrassment into a defining trauma. Psychologists say this is reshaping an entire generation's connection to self-worth. Just as a fire can raise a forest, shame can be a tool for change. As a rebuttal to the shame culture, some kids are now holding friends accountable, saying, "Hey, that wasn't cool," instead of letting toxicity fester. Others are pushing back with "let people enjoy things" campaigns, fighting the tide of constant ridicule. Still others are pushing back against excessive negativity, promoting positive roasting or accountability without cruelty. Part 10. Treading lightly in the swamp of shame. At the end of the day, the teens' shaming tactics are a mirror to their world, which is fast, fierce, and unforgiving. It's a jungle out there, and everyone's just trying not to be the next meal. But maybe, just maybe, there's room for a little more kindness in the wild. After all, even the mightiest lions were once awkward cubs. So the next time you're tempted to join the shame parade, ask yourself if you are laughing with someone or at someone. Because in this digital safari, sometimes the hunters become the hunted. And watch out, because karma's got a wicked sense of humor.